So, herzlich willkommen zu Teil 2 vom We Don't Get Tired, Woche 14 Sports Talk live hier aus dem Schweinske in Düsseldorf. Und ich weiß nicht, ob ihr das gelesen habt auf unserer Facebook-Page, aber unser nächster Gast wurde angekündigt als der Franz Beckenbauer des deutschen Football. Ich weiß nicht, wer schreibt diese Texte? Schreibst du das, Sina? Okay, dann war das vielleicht Philipp. Also Franz Beckenbauer sehe ich ein, aber ich erhöhe um Hildegard Knef, was seine Wichtigkeit im deutschen Football betrifft auf jeden Fall. Estrus Crayton, herzlich willkommen. Welcome, Estrus. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Estrus Crayton is a very, very, very much accredited player who played for USC and came to Germany in, when exactly was that?
1995.
1995. Did you know, apart from the fact that I just told you before we started, that you had fans all around the world, even Australia?
Well, no, but now I know that you told me that. But that's a good thing, I guess.
Yeah. I'm going to do something that I normally don't do. I'm going to bring my phone out and actually look at my Twitter feed while I'm doing interviews here. And as I was doing research, I read a tweet from 2014 from a guy named Phil Staley that I never met in Australia. And he tweeted, "Last time I watched a USC football game, the Trojans had Estrus Crayton, Rob Johnson, and Johnny Morton on offense. 1993, I think. We know he's wrong. It was 92 that you played there, right?
93.
Or 93 even?
Yes, 93.
Okay. Well, I wrote him back that I was going to be interviewing you tonight, and he said, awesome. Tell him his style of play inspired Aussies to stay up late and learn about American football.
That's wonderful.
How does it feel to inspire people all around the world?
Oh, I mean, it feels good. I didn't know that people around the world watch me, but I mean, if I can motivate other countries to play American football, hey, I'll keep doing it.
Okay. How would you describe your style of play back then?
My style of play, I had a different. For me, it was like playing against a lot of cats, and I was the mice or the mouse. And cat and mouse, they don't get along. So when I played the game, I always looked at the defenders as the cats, and I was the mouse. And I had the ball, which was the cheese. Mm-hmm. And that was my mindset. And I really didn't know the game like I do now. You know, for me, it was just taking the ball and running, trying to score a touchdown. But it was so much that I had to learn about the game of football. But I didn't learn about the game of football until I was 25 years old.
Okay, how did you get started?
Ooh, my cousins. I was 8 years old when I started playing football, and we were playing, and the ball, you know, the kids now in Germany or nowadays, they have the little ball, and I didn't start with the little ball. I started with the big ball, and I started playing with 13-year-old kids, and I was 8 years old, and we were playing tackle football, and I was like, no, and they were like, yes, get in there. So I started when I was 8 playing with my cousins, and then what really inspired me was my uncle. He had trophies, and every time I went to visit my uncle, I would run in his room and look at these trophies, and I was like, one day I'm going to get one of these trophies, whether it be basketball, football, or baseball. And that motivated me because every week I went, you know, to visit my uncle, and I saw all these trophies, and I was like, I got to get a trophy. So I started playing sports, which football was my first sport, and then I got my first trophy, and yeah, I was like a little kid in the candy store. So yeah, my uncle motivated me to play football as well.
So you played high school football in Texas, or was that your uncle in California?
No, both. I started playing football in Texas. Pop Warner for the Wolverines, that was the name of my team. And I was a big Michigan fan, to be honest with you. And I played Pop Warner on up into junior high school, and then I moved to California my sophomore year. And then, being a new kid, I didn't get to play very much, and I begged the coach to let me practice, which they didn't let me do anything. And finally they let me practice, and the coach was like, oh, okay, he can play. So yeah, I got my opportunity and made the best of it.
Okay, and then you transferred to running back to USC.
Well, no, I went to Santa Ana College before I went to USC.
Yeah.
And then my whole life I've played running back. Every time people see me, they say, "Oh, you're too tall to play running back," which it was just a stereotype to me because I was tall, but I think I was a pretty good running back, but everyone was always telling me, "Oh, you're too tall," but nah, I mean, I was going to prove them wrong. So after high school, I went to junior college, Santa Ana. I think I still hold several records at the school. I got inducted into the Hall of Fame there, and then I transferred to USC. So, yeah, I had a pretty good career.
Yeah, totally awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, but if you look at the guys who got drafted in 93, 94, guys like Jerome Bettis, of course, Natrone Means.
I played against those guys.
Yeah,
yes.
But they weren't like cats. They were more like the bulldog and the cat.
Yeah, the big back. Yeah. They were the
could
big
it just
back.
be that maybe you were like 10 years ahead of your time?
No. You know what? I look back on my college career, and it was a big learning experience for me. I wasn't that type of back, but like I said, I didn't know how to play football. Just because I was at USC didn't mean I knew how to play football. Like I said, I knew to get the ball and run, but I really didn't know how to play football. It was so much more to learn. So it was a learning experience, and I wish I would have spent more time to understand the game because it was so much to learn about the game. But I was only there for 2 years, and then when I finished college, I was still raw. Like I was still like a freshman or a sophomore in college when I finished college because I had really no understanding of the game. So I don't look at my time as I don't look at Jerome Bettis and those guys. Like I said, it was a really big learning experience for me, and it helped me when I came to Germany. It really helped me.
How did you learn about football in Germany, of all places?
Well, after college, I went to the combine, which was huge. I didn't know, like I said, I didn't have a male figure in my life to really guide me like most guys had that male figure in their lives to say, this is important, you can't do this, you can't do this. So everything that I was doing, I was learning by doing. I didn't have a male figure in my life guiding me to do this or that, telling me don't do this. So after college, I got invited to the combine, which I didn't know how important that was. I really didn't know. I did not train at all for the combine. It was probably the worst day of my life, knowing how important it was, because I had no clue. So after the combine, flew back to California, and it was terrible. Everyone was talking about how bad I did, and I blame myself because I didn't prepare correctly. After the season was over, I stopped working out, stopped doing everything. Actually, at the time, I was just tired of football. But, yeah, so that was a learning experience. And then after the combine, I actually flew to Tokyo and played in the Tokyo Bowl. It was an all-star game, East Gig and West, the all-star game, the best college players in America. So I did have an opportunity to play in Tokyo Dome, which was a great experience. Then after that, I went to New York with the Giants, went to mini camp, had a great time, learned a lot, went to Washington Redskins, and went to mini camp with them, and it was a wonderful time, wonderful experience. And of course, everyone saw me. They said, "Oh, running back." Yeah, running back. Yeah, oh, you're tall. But so unfortunately, that didn't work out. And then I went to Canada in 1994 at running back also. And I was playing for Edmonton. Ended up putting me on the practice squad. And then, make a long story short, a guy from Holland called me, Joop Woudenberg called me, said, "You want to play football in Germany?" And I was like, "Football in Germany?" I was like, yeah. So he sent me a video, and I saw the videotape, and I was like, okay. So my first team when I came to Germany was Dusseldorf. So, yeah, that's how I got to Germany.
And after that, you just won it all. You had 7 German Bowl titles.
Well, I don't want to say after that. Like I said, in college, I don't want to say I failed, but to me, you have to fail to succeed. Mm-hmm. And like I said, I learned a lot when I came out of college because I wasn't prepared for the combine. And then I started working out with some professionals, like really professional guys that were already playing in the NFL. And here it is, I'm jogging a lap on the track thinking I'm working out. And I had a friend of mine, Travis Clark. Actually, he changed my life. He doesn't know it, but this guy changed my life because he started taking me with him to the workouts, and it was a whole different level from what I was doing. I thought I was working out, but it was a whole nother level. And once I saw what it really took to be a professional athlete, that changed my life. So when I came to Germany, I was still training with these NFL athletes. And the training that I was doing, which is funny, the things that they're doing now, that people are doing now, I was doing 12 years ago. Mm-hmm. So I see a lot of the guys training doing this, and I'm like, wow, I was doing that 13 years ago. So when I came to Germany, I was, how can I say, I was pissed off for greatness. I'll put it that way. I was pissed off for greatness because the guy asked me, did I know anything about the German Football League? And I told him no. I said, but when I'm done playing, the German Football League will know about me. So I was pissed off for greatness, but like I said, I had to fail to succeed, and I think it worked out pretty good.
I think it's safe to say that you changed the level of German play.
Well, Dusseldorf was the team was already good. To me, Dusseldorf, Berlin, Cologne, those German players back then, they were on a different level. Of course, the game is not the way it used to be. I think
exactly.
Those players.
How do you think it evolved?
Oh, well, I don't want to say it evolved. Well, it did evolve. I think what helped back then was NFL Europe, because the German players were a lot better, and plus the finances from each team was better. And now the team, you have Braunschweig, which, they can go out and buy any player they want at any time, and all the other teams really can't do that. So back then, every team was financially set. It was an equal playing field, and the imports were also coming from Division I colleges. So the league back then was a lot more competitive, and every week it was you had to bring your lunch every week. It wasn't like now where you have 3 or 4 teams in the GFL, and then the rest of the teams are just walkovers. It wasn't like that back then. But I think NFL Europe helped, but I think it can get back to that level if the league needs one big sponsor to even out the playing field with every other team, because every other team or every team doesn't have the same finances that Braunschweig has. So it makes it a lot easier when you have money to do things. So we'll see what changes in the future. Hopefully, it changes in the future.
Sure. When I drop your name when I talk about football, and I'm going to talk to Estrus Crayton, people are usually like, Estrus Crayton, yeah, he plays for. Wait a minute, is he still playing? No, he's playing for. So, are you ready? Could you suit up now?
Of course.
Okay. Would you like to maybe shout out to coaches or anybody who's listening?
No, I don't need to shout out anyone. I mean, for the guys that know me, they know what I can do. I don't need to shout out. But I'm sure I could play first league. I could play right now football in Germany for whatever league. It doesn't matter. So okay. I don't need to shout out anyone.
But right now you're into coaching.
I'm into coaching. I love it too.
What are your goals as a coach?
As a coach, to motivate the players. actually,
You're
because
a youth coach. I know.
I'm a youth coach, but I'm a coach. I don't really consider myself, I don't even like the word coach. I say teacher.
Mm-hmm.
Because like I said, I didn't learn the game of football until I was 25. And it's so many young guys that play first league, second league, they don't understand the game of football. They watch NFL and think, oh, but it's so much more to football than catching a pass, tackling a guy. It's so much to learn. And like I said, I played at USC, and I didn't have a clue about the game of football. I didn't actually learn the game of football until I was 25 years old. The full game, how everything works. So my goal is actually to motivate any player, whether it's a receiver, running back, O-line, D-line, to be the best he can be, because that's why you play the game, to be the best.
So you're giving them the father figure or the male figure that you never had.
I'm giving them the motivation speech, or the teacher. I'm giving them the knowledge that I have. I want to give that knowledge back to the players that want to be the best. I keep saying the best because a lot of players talk about the best, but talk is cheap. I know right now it's probably half the players in the GFL couldn't work out with me right now. Because, when you say the best, it takes a lot of work. If you want to be great, it takes hard work.
It takes work on and off the field.
Yes. I mean, off the field. Yeah. I mean, a lot of, when I played, a lot of times people didn't see what I did during the off season. People used to say, oh, we thought you were just talented. But no, I worked when people were sleeping at 6 o'clock in the morning. I was out running. So I never slept. When I was playing, and, I can still play, I don't sleep. When guys are sleeping, that's when I'm working. So,
all right.
Yeah.
So you inspire people to be disciplined, motivated, beyond football even. It's more than that.
Yes.
One thing I wanted to get to is you have people in the NFL that take roles of trying to bring their philosophy or their opinions when it comes to politics and being a good person, being a better person to the people. Do you think it's appropriate for a sportsman to say, okay, well, I'm going to kneel during the national anthem?
I mean, it's a free country, so if people want to kneel or say whatever they want, freedom of speech. I'm not a politician, but I think it's a time and a place for everything. So, I mean,
were you ever in the situation where you thought, okay, I have the opportunity to say something important?
No. I mean, first and foremost, I'm a team player, and I was never put in a situation where I had to really do anything to. I didn't have to do anything like that, so I've never been in that situation.
But so. You were with USC in 91, 92.
Yes.
Also.
Yes.
And that was the time of the Los Angeles riots.
Correct.
Correct. Did that have any impact on you, or did that make you feel, okay, this is the time for me to take a stand and do something?
I mean, it was dangerous. So actually, at the time of the riots, which was right around where we lived at, the funny thing is our coach came and got us, and he had our head coach at the time. We were at his house. He lived up in the hills somewhere, so they all came and got us and took us to the coach's house because it was too dangerous at the time to be around the area. But I wasn't taking a stand back then. I was trying to get the hell out of where I was living at.
Yeah. But all that, the Rodney King thing didn't have any impact on you, maybe wanting to leave the country and come to Europe?
No. I mean, look, those things happen all over the world. I mean, it's not like it doesn't happen in, really, things like that happen all over the world, but I'm one person. I can't change that. Of course, we know right from wrong, but that had nothing to do with me coming to Germany. So, I came to Germany because of Jo Woudenberg, so, yeah.
Okay. And right now in a situation where you're coaching, where you say you can suit up and play, do whatever, who do you look for inspiration right now, you personally?
The guy in the mirror. That's my inspiration. When I look in the mirror, I mean, no disrespect. I don't want to disrespect the GFL, but it's boring. I mean, I'm 40-something years old. I know I can suit up for any GFL team. When I know I can do that, I can. The league is boring. Like I said, you have Braunschweig, Schwäbisch Hall, who else? Dresden, Kiel, and that's it. Other than that, the teams are, it's very boring. So I really don't watch the GFL anymore. So no one in the GFL football league inspires me. I mean, I inspire myself when I look in the mirror. But the thing that does motivate me is when I see, the players that want to get better. Players, because I think all German players that play American football have a dream to go play in the States. And so for me, if that's their dream, I want to help them fulfill that. And when I say help them fulfill that, I want to teach, I'll repeat myself, teach them the game of football, because coaching and teaching is two different things. A lot of guys coach players, but they don't teach them the game of football. So if I can teach, whether it's an O-lineman, like I said, I train guys also. I've trained a lot of German players, the best ones to be exact. So those that know me, they know what I'm about, what I can do. And, I told a kid earlier, if he wants to get better, he needs to, he can come see me, and I help him out. So, So that's my motivation.
All right. Thank you, appreciate it. That wraps it up for us. Estrus Crayton, thank you very much for coming.
Thank you.
Und Estrus bleibt noch eine Weile hier. Ich hoffe, auch unsere Gäste von vorher bleiben eine Weile hier. Für euch gilt natürlich auch immer, wenn ihr herkommt, alle unsere Gäste sind noch hier und Essen, Trinken ist ein richtiger Football-Stammtisch, der sich hier mittlerweile entwickelt hat. Kommt vorbei, esst mit uns einen Schnitzel, trinkt eine Cola oder was anderes und wir machen jetzt an der Stelle Schluss und schauen uns die Spiele der Woche 14 an. Das war's. Harold Macmillan, vielen Dank fürs Zuschauen.